Hagar, one of the black women in the Bible. And so when we come back into the Bible now, and we're looking into Africa, this is the story of black women. So
Right.
we're going to be looking not at the sons of Ham, but the daughters of Ham.
That's right up my alley.
So for clarification, we're going to use the four people group that came out of Ham's four sons.
Excellent.
Right? The first people group is the Cush. The second one is Mizraim. Then we have Put.
Right.
And then we have Canaan.
Canaan.
So we're going to only have in this particular session today, we're only going to have time to cover the first two, Cush and
Okay.
Mizraim. We'll follow up if you guys consider that, if it was value added enough for you, right?
Right.
We'll follow up with another session and you can kind of see a little bit more from there.
Yeah.
She is not the only black woman in the Bible, right? So we're going to jump
me more.
into Mizraim, right?
Uh-huh.
So Mizraim is what we get Egypt and Philistines from. Yes, I said Philistines. We'll come back to that in a minute. So coming back, I want you to get again where we're talking about.
Yeah.
This one most people are more familiar with. So we'll go to this one a little bit quicker. But you're looking at, when we think Egypt, we think one nation, one
Yep.
kingdom.
Yep.
Well, what really it was 7 different people groups that formed together
Okay.
one nation.
Okay.
Almost like, we think of the United States and it has a lot of different states, right? And it's, or when the United States first started, it was 13 colonies, right? Every place that starts, it starts off with people groups that come together that
Right.
eventually form a nation. These are the 7 groups.
Okay.
One of the groups, right, the Castilites, the Bible says is the Philistines.
Okay.
When I read that, I was like, oh my goodness, what? The Philistines? So wait a minute. So the Philistines, does that mean that Goliath of Gath, the Philistine,
That's right.
does that mean that dude is black? That thing got my attention. I ain't gonna lie. I started looking at things different. But again, this is not about the guys. This is about the women.
Yes, please, let's stay on
let's
course
go
here.
back, right? Because you already know how Nubians were empowerment of women, right? I was shocked when I discovered how Egyptians viewed women. So I'll let Shelia go through this. What do you have? What do you see here?
It's an Egyptian woman enjoyed legal and financial freedom not common at the time. And as I'm reading that, I'm thinking of today. So many of us as women, we don't step up in the places where we handle legal stuff and financial stuff. We always step back and let the man, the husband, or the male in the circle handle it. But this just tell me that when I read my Bible in Proverbs 31, when it talk about this woman, I'm connecting. She might have been an Egyptian, indeed. She buys and sells property. She's got it going on here. She earned equal wage by doing the same job as a man. This is something we're wrestling with right now in the United States.
It was noble for Egyptians.
Wow.
That if you did the same work as the woman and man was supposed to get paid the same.
Yeah. And this one here, this one got me. She had the right to divorce and remarry. She had the right.
Israel, and keep in mind that the Israelite women did not have the same privilege.
Wow.
So the Egyptian actually had more women empowerment than the Israelites did. That's a really big thing to understand because this is a big culture shift between the two. So when they come together, that is a clash of cultures. And 3 Egyptian pharaohs were actually women. Women became doctors, right? And the doctors weren't just some basic stuff. They had to be a specialist, an eye specialist, a mouth specialist, a foot specialist. And this is going to probably blow some people away. But the Great Pyramids were built by paid workers that had houses and guards to protect them. It was not built by slaves. And that is a
This
big
is definitely an eye-opener for me because when we think of paid workers and not slaves, I guess we are so brainwashed by the things that we see on quote-unquote TV versus really doing the work to find out the background. And, just going back to the other point you just made about doctors, with one person focusing on a specific disease, that kind of really brought focus on the depth of knowledge they had about that particular disease or issue. So we didn't have generalists like we would say in normal conversation.
Yep. And so with this context, we're going to walk you through how the Bible introduces Egypt into the story. The first time it does is this. So you have Abraham. He leaves the land of the Chaldeans, the place in Ur, right? He leaves basically the Cush kingdom, right, to go to the Mizraim kingdom, because those were the first world nations at the time. He wasn't even a nation yet, right? And so when he traveled those 600 miles, he traveled to Egypt. There was a clash of cultures when he got there. Now, he was a little, questionable in his behavior, right? He lied to the Egyptian king and said his wife was his sister.
I tell you.
He got mad at him and kicked him out. But here's the thing. He entered Egypt rich. He left incredibly wealthy. One of the things he left with was now a servant named Hagar. She is not a slave.
That was really an eye-opener, another eye-opener for me, because I think we are so one-sided in our thinking when we have not really done the research. And you bringing this out just really helped me to see that Hagar had it going on too. She wasn't just a little peon.
So keep in mind now, right? Now that you understand the Egyptian empowerment of women, she was used to that. If she's a woman, she had rights and she can exert herself.
Right.
So that's why you find in the Bible she kept battling with Sarah for a role, because when she was selected, which was strange to her, she was selected to become basically a sex slave or second class wife of Abraham, right? She now had a kid, and now she's starting to have an attitude like, well, that means I'm now somebody.
Exactly.
Because in Egypt, I would be somebody.
In their society, she would. Yeah.
And so there's a culture clash here that you miss if you don't understand the Egyptian attitude towards women versus at this time the attitude Abraham and his tribe had towards women.
Right. And it's so important for us to get this background, because so many times we make judgments not knowing the information. So this is good that you're bringing this to light.
Now, Sarah, it's really important to understand. Sarah and her battled, right? But she still had a son, which Abraham loved his son Ishmael.
Yes, he did.
But there was too much problems, so he sent her away. I'm still bothered by the fact he didn't send her with a lot of supplies.
I know.
Right? But, so then she has a son Ishmael. Ishmael then has 12 sons.
Right.
Him and his sons and the descendants of Esau actually intermarry a lot. They become powerful warrior tribes.
Okay.
But here is the other significance. Abraham is the patriarch, a father of 3 religions: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And the reason for Islam is through Ishmael, because Islam considers Ishmael a Muslim prophet, because through his line is where Muhammad comes from.
Gotcha.
That's how it all come together. This concludes our second video in the series Stories of Black Women in the Bible. Please continue to support these online Bible study series by Kevin Melliphant and Shelia Malcom, and share it. Share it with a friend, share it with a coworker. Show them the rich diversity that's found in the Bible. Be blessed.